And it says we're live. The clock widget is started. 10-minute countdown is beginning. Check our watch screens. Watch screens are working. Okay, and let's just go on to my channel, make sure that I'm... Am I live? Betty Broderick, I see Sarah Boone appeal. Maybe refresh my YouTube. No, we've got people here. People are liking it. That's a sign that I'm live. Playlist. Hey, there we are. Still says no views, but there are people here. Satori is here. Mel B is here. Beth the Salesman. Okay, I can hear myself. That means my audio is working. We have a special treat for anyone who's coming in this morning. Betty Broderick is still dead, Beth of a Salesman. That is correct. I have switched over to all messages, so I'm not missing any messages from anyone. Disney Mom is here. Good morning, Disney Mom. Aid V, thank you. I am live. Mal B is here. Satori Hisu. So we have a special guest for everyone who's joining today. We had difficulties on a Friday the 13th. It didn't all work out quite the way we planned. But today, for you, for us, for me, for everyone, we have Derek Judd from Cowboy Criminology. Derek, are you online? Can you say hi? Hey, feeling good, feeling good. Yeah, no, I've been looking forward to it too. I was almost worried that during the Betty Broderick marathon that I was going to kind of get out of lose everything that we'd gained on figuring out how to do the streams together. So this time it only took us an hour, and it seems like people can hear us. Uh-oh. Satori's saying I can't hear our guest. That's no good. I can hear you clearly. Go ahead and say another quick hello. Uh-oh. Oh. You know what the problem might be? Okay, hold on. Let me switch it to... Yeah, they're saying they can't hear you. Okay, try again.
Can anybody hear me now?
I think they can now, because I didn't have your screen active in the... I didn't have your screen active in the scene setup. Okay, go ahead and say another hello.
Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me now?
There we go.
No.
No, I think that's just late on the chat, because when you're talking, I'm seeing the audio bars move. So feel like we're...
Oh, success.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Whew. Okay.
So yeah, when I was in the opening scene, it only had me in it, and that's why you could only hear me. But this is one of our watch scenes. Let's just test the other watch screen. No, we're not even going to use this screen. No, I'll switch to that scene when I'm solo, if you decide to leave after the first 2 or 3 videos. So let's let people know we're not going to go back to the countdown screen. We're just going to get started here. Mum of Lola's here. Welcome, Mum. Good to see you. Barbara King, great to see you. Haven't seen you in the chat for a little while. Barbara King, I don't know how you managed to spend this much time in the Dandy chats without getting yourself a moderator status. So you are in there. Terry Garbs is here. Terry Garbs, another valued member of the Cowboy Criminology and Dandy True Crime community.
one of the very first subscribers to Cowboy Criminology.
Right. Mom of Lola is one of
And
my first.
the whole reason my Sarah Boone content went anywhere was because Miss Garbs was like, you've got to start covering Sarah Boone. And I didn't want to, but I watched that first video outside of her apartment, and I was like, she's a train wreck.
Yeah.
And then I got sucked into the vortex like everybody else.
Nice. Very nice.
No way not to be unscathed.
Well, we've, let's see, we'll just catch up quickly on the news, and then we'll start from, we're doing the pretrial hearing. So our first video is going to be Frank Bankowitz discussing his relationship with Miss Boone. We also have a video of Patricia Cashman having similar issues with Miss Boone, and a pro se video that we'll definitely get to today. We may, depending on how much time Derek can stay with us, he may stick around for the longer video afterwards. Otherwise, I may fly solo on that video, depending on how he's feeling after the first hour. Beth of a Salesman's asking, how are your finals, Derek?
Well, I made it through my second year of law school. Unfortunately, grades come about 3 to 4 weeks after the semester. So I get to spend the next month being on pins and needles. But if everything goes according to plan, I'll start my externship here in a couple weeks, which will be awesome. And I will, in the fall, I'll start my third year and, be working towards passing the bar in July of next year. So
awesome.
It's a lot.
If you continue at that rate, you may be able to pass the bar in time to represent Sarah for one of her appeal hearings. She's going to keep stretching that.
Not the first person to make that joke.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just like...
No, I stole it from one of your guys. That was from something I saw in one of your early videos.
Oh
yeah.
My God. Yeah, I sit there and I look at this and I'm just like, I just don't... At this point, what do you even... If you're doing it, you're doing it for clout or entertainment purposes. I don't know which one, but I
think at this point
she is something else.
She just wants to continue fighting so she has day passes out of the prison. If I was stuck there, that would be about the only thing left to fight for, right?
Right. Sometimes I feel like she feels like she is the main character, not just in her own story, but like in the history of the world. Like nobody exists, and nobody seems to understand just how exceptional she is in every aspect of her life. It's hard.
Before we start, I'm just going to answer Disney Mom 2, who's asking, when is the much anticipated cook-off with Daniel Siobhan? I finished my cooking yesterday. Danielle has finished her cooking. We've sent pictures to each other, and my video is now, I've got a 2-minute video that's unlisted that she's using to put together a compilation video. So as soon as Danielle's ready to launch that, I will join her on that premiere. Derek, if you're ready, why don't you start this video from the beginning? And
All right.
I think, we're pretty close. Let her run.
All right.
And I'll ask you to pause if I have anything to say. If I think I can talk over the quiet parts, I'll just talk over it without doing a pause.
Sounds good.
Detective Wilbefit says, once you enter the chat part of us, you're here forever. This is forever. So initially, oh no, I think, did we lose volume on it? Yeah.
Hang on one second.
We definitely had volume before we reset.
All right.
The law is I feel
There we
like
go.
I have to motion first and rule on that before I can address any other motions.
Can you rewind it?
Heard today. Let's go ahead and call up
Here we go.
case
State of Florida versus Sarah Boone, 2020, CF 2603, State.
Dave Kessler on behalf of the state.
Defendant.
Frank Bankowitz.
Please raise your right hand. Please solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes.
Can I have JAC announce themselves as well?
Gotta love the Sarah haircut in these early ones, too.
All right. So we have multiple matters scheduled this morning, one of which is Mr. Bankwitz's motion to withdraw. My reading of the law is I feel like I have to address that motion first and rule on that before I can address any other motions that would be heard today. So, Mr. Bankwitz, I'll start with you. Tell me why you're moving to withdraw.
Judge, the letters that have been coming to your honor,
If you can pause quickly. Oh, never mind, you got your ad. That's fine. Let it run. Derek doesn't have premium, so we're going to be able to do some ad reads. If any ads come up for a product we don't like, I'm going to shit on it. Derek, have you seen the Frank Bankowitz, any of this early stuff?
No, this is all brand new to me.
Okay, so watch this as though, now he's obviously an experienced lawyer, but as a prospective new to pass the bar, listen to some of his complaints and imagine how you may feel if one of your first clients that you got assigned, should you have gone into public defense, treated you while he's going to explain it. So go ahead, let it run.
Okay, let's check this out.
of my services in this case, I can't effectively represent her. She doesn't trust me. She calls me a dud, I think, a buffoon, on and on and on and on. And no one should have to endure that type of derogatory.
Is he court appointed?
He is, public defender, and was the 6th attorney to be brought on, and he's one of the 4 that were definitely fired by Sarah as opposed to conflicting out.
Okay, because this is interesting. So I've come into contact with a lot of criminal defense attorneys, and the common complaint about representing people pro bono or as a public defender is there's a level of entitlement that people don't really seem to understand. There's a limit to what you're able to do.
They think they have a personal lawyer, not a public lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I just think that I think I've heard some of the demands. So I think it's kind of wild. It's like, you understand you're getting something for free that most people would have to cough up
Exactly.
$300 an hour for. That's crazy.
Yeah, and
so thank you for clarifying.
No, and in her mind, you'll see that they bring this up, but basically the attorneys are like, the only way she would be happy is if we were working on her case, 100% of the time, and that's just not possible.
Right.
Comments and expect to effectively represent someone, especially in a murder case.
Ms. Boone, I read your letter dated August 26, 2023, and your letter dated August 30th, 2023. And just so we're clear, I read all of the letters that you send to the court.
Just so it's clear.
Whether or not is based on what's in the letter and whether I'm asked to actually do something that's within my purview as a judge or not. If I understand correctly, you have now decided that you think it would be best, in fact, if Mr. Bankowitz was allowed to withdraw. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And you understand, by him withdrawing, I'll have to appoint another attorney. Do you understand that?
I do.
And that attorney's not standing here, so we're not going to be able to address, and I'll give the state a chance to talk to me as well, but assuming I grant this, we won't be able to address the other issues that were docketed for today, which means I'm going to have to reset your case for a later date. Do you understand that?
I'm not sure what items it is you're speaking of. I haven't received a copy yet of the letter.
So we're having a hearing today in regards to authorization for payment for an expert that your attorney believes he needs to defend you, and the issue about the compensation of that expert, which is why JAC is participating today. I don't know if your next lawyer is going to think that that expert's the right person to use, or whether they're going to go a different route after consulting with you. And even if they did, they're not standing here. And once Mr. Bankwitz is out, he's out. He can't argue the motion. So do you understand that?
I fully understand.
Fine.
Pause it there.
Mr.
I saw you kind of do a double take, but
We just had a rare moment of clarity from Sarah Boone. She actually understood something.
exactly. I fully understands. And yet,
Fully understand.
watch like the amount of time it takes until I just don't understand. The minute she says she fully understands something, well, I don't understand. If you could help me, please. I'm just trying to do my best here. What was I asking for the pause for? This is great though, because going back, we didn't realize how ridiculous she would still be from here. Like at this point, a lot of people, kind of thought this was near the tail end of Sarah's arc.
Right.
Who knew that this was really the beginning of the next chapter of everything from pro se Sarah to the crazy trial that we got. But it's really informative going back to hear how even Judge Wooten, this is going back, I think this is June of 2024, how early she was warned of the dangers of going pro se. And in this particular case, like her lawyers tried to bring in defense experts, and he's making motions, to get wheels moving. And she keeps pushing him back by, things didn't happen fast enough for me. So burn the ground that, everything that's been sown, the seeds are scorched earth and we're starting over.
That's just, I can understand frustration about how long it takes. I mean, I'm sure anybody could. But this is not frustration. It's not happening on my schedule.
Exactly.
She didn't have any bond, right? She had no bond on her case.
No, she did argue that.
I did see that.
And we'll get to that in the next video even. Patricia Cashman talks about it.
Yeah, you've got no bond. Where do you need to go? Like,
exactly.
While this whole thing is working itself out, you've got nothing but time. And, I never really thought about this before, but when somebody is awaiting trial or sentencing, all of that time counts as time served.
Exactly.
So if you're going to be in there because you don't have a bond anyway, and you think you have any chance of getting a reduced sentence, you might as well take advantage of the time of being in there and not having the potential to go out and screw up like so many people
Good point.
tend to do when they get out on probation.
Good point. Also in Canada, at least BC, I know that time served counts as double. I know that doesn't count in Florida, but if you're in holding rather than in proper custody, like pretrial or whatever, that all counts double towards your time served.
So it's interesting. So I was a jail administrator. It was my first job in law enforcement, and inmates can earn up to 3 days for every day they serve.
Okay.
And they can do that by being a trustee, participating in therapeutic programs, and there's one other thing. It's been a minute since I've been a jail administrator, but they can earn 3 to 1. But if the sentencing judge puts a restriction that they have to serve flat time, that they have to serve, they can only get so much credit, then that takes away any of those incentives.
Right.
And when I worked for the state prison system, inmates collect what they call good time. It's like time for good behavior, which counts towards parole and things like that. And losing that time is what hurts them more than anything, more than visitation, commissary, any of that stuff. Losing that good time, that has a horrible effect on them.
And probably a great effect on the guards that are trying to motivate behavior, to at least have something like that to hold over instead of somebody who's like, what are you going to do? I'm not going anywhere, like Sarah.
Right. Yeah, you've got people who will. You can always tell who's fixing to come up for parole because they're usually a problem child who all of a sudden turns into an altar boy.
Right.
It's like, oh, somebody's fixing to go see parole, and that if they get parole, they try to do their best, but a lot of times if they don't get parole, I mean they just go right back to their
Right.
default level.
I was only
It's
being
a
good
lot.
for their benefit, and I can't do it for 5 more years, so fuck it.
Yeah, essentially. All right, we're ready to pick it back
Yeah,
up?
let's let it run.
Yeah, okay.
Takes no position in these issues, but there are limited circumstances when the state doesn't take a position. So are you taking a position on this motion withdrawal, Mr. Cacciatore?
No, this would be one of those times where we would be not taking a position.
All right. So
Is that Ralph Fiennes?
No, that's Mr. Cacciatore. Did you say Ralph Fiennes?
Yeah.
I'll see if I can
Am I
pull.
not-
I'll try and pull up
am I
a
the
picture in
only-
the background.
Am I the only one who thinks that?
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me, but
Oh, I'll
man,
see.
that's
Let it run. I'll pull up a picture in the background and get it up while we're.
Position.
all right. So I'm going to grant Mr. Bankwitz's motion to withdraw. I'm going to appoint let me find my list. Attorney Winston Hobson to represent Ms. Boone. In regards to the other matters scheduled today, I'm going to take no action on them at this time until Mr. Hobson can, well, in regards to the motion involving JAC, I'm simply going to take no action on that motion at this point in time until Mr. Hobson has a chance to review it and determine whether he wants to proceed with that motion. I will address the pretrial because today was also supposed to be pretrial. Here's what we'll do. Let me just get my calendar up.
I found a good picture of Ralph Fiennes. He's 62 years old, but looking fantastic in this photo.
Pretrial conference. I'm going to set this case for pretrial conference on Tuesday, November 28th, and a trial period starting Monday, December 11th. I think any earlier period of time would be unrealistic for Mr. Hobson to get on board, get up to speed with the discovery, and determine how he wants to proceed in regards to any experts. But I will set a status hearing on the case prior to that.
His accent sounds like he's not far from where James Owens came from. Whenever he says Miss Boone, I picture it spelled Bewn when James Owens or Wooten is saying it. Miss Boone. Alfie, boy, we're good. All right, here's Ralph Fiennes at 62 years old. Throw him at the bottom corner. Probably have to find a younger picture to compare to the younger Mr. Cacciatore, but figured I'd throw that up for the people who like a physique.
Locally grown
Well,
favorites.
we'll leave it up during this ad too. Yeah.
he played Francis Dollaride in Red Dragon,
Oh, okay.
and that's kind of what drew me to him. I was like, man, he looks a lot like Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah. Find a younger one. Go ahead.
Apologize for all the commercial interruptions.
No worries. There's people who miss it from my old coverage. So
October 5th, 2023 at 10 a.m. That'll be for the purpose of making sure that Mr. Hobson's on board, some sense of where he thinks things are, how realistic he thinks the November pretrial is, any other matters I need to address with him at that time. Now, Ms. Boone, in just a minute, they're going to take you back to the Orange County Jail. I'm going to suggest that you talk to Mr. Hobson about the various other issues you raised in your letter dated August 30th, 2023. One other thing I want to talk to you about, we had this conversation once in the past.
Say it again.
Clearly, your working relationship with Mr. Bankowitz was such that it deteriorated to the point where the two of y'all just couldn't work together
Clearly.
to defend you. So I'm not going to try to referee how that played out, why that unfolded the way it did. But one thing I want to caution you about, if this becomes a problem on another court-appointed attorney, I'm going to look more closely at what the alleged disputes are. You have a right to a court-appointed lawyer. There are certain decisions a defendant gets to make in the defense of their case that are absolutely theirs, such as whether they go to trial or not, such as whether they testify or not. But there are many decisions in a case that a lawyer gets to make. And while you certainly have a right to consult with your lawyer and discuss with your lawyer, they don't automatically just do whatever you say. They use their professional judgment and experience and look at the evidence, look at the law, and do the best they can. Also, you've got court-appointed counsel. As I've explained to you before, court-appointed counsel rarely have the luxury of representing one person and only having one case to focus on. I have concerns that your expectations of what any court-appointed counsel might do as far as spending time with you and the depth and degree of communication may be unrealistic expectations.
Maybe.
You always have the right to retain a lawyer to represent you, and then that's between you and that lawyer. You can demand whatever expectations that you have as part of that agreement. But when it's a court-appointed lawyer, you have to accept and understand that they have other cases, other courtrooms, other responsibilities. And I'm cognizant of that when I'm addressing these types of issues about communication. So that's just food for thought, nothing to do today. I don't need a response from you. I just wanted to make
Sarah
sure
likes
you were
food.
aware about that as we proceeded forward. So again, the court minutes reflect that I am in court continuing pretrial. I have granted a motion withdraw. I have appointed Mr. Hobson to represent the defendant, and I'm taking no action on the motion, the ex parte motion for cost directed where GAC is responding. Ms. Boone will be returned to the Orange County Jail pending disposition of her case.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Am I able to say anything?
That's my favorite part of that. Am I able to say anything? Can you rewind that? Just go back 10 seconds and
Oh yeah, of course.
that Sarah should have been told this way more often, but yeah, just let it run.
Able to say anything?
We could make a great mixtape out of that.
Am I able to say
You have to
anything?
be nice to me. Am I able to say anything?
Exactly.
For directed where GAC is responding. Ms. Boone will be returned to the Orange County Jail pending disposition of her case.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Am I able to say anything?
And that look she has, like, I figured I wouldn't be allowed to say anything. Got a younger
It
Ralph
looks like
Fiennes
it.
up on the screen for you there too. That's looking a little bit
Oh,
more
yeah.
Matthew Cacciatore like.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I mean, just where in the world does she find? I mean, who knows? Who knows?
You know, there's something
that-
to be said there. There, like, to have that level of confidence with the commensurate and opposite amount of talent. Like most people that you know, are full of themselves, have something that makes them, you know, like they're strikingly attractive. They're smarter than everyone. Sarah is so below average on almost every bell curve of, and manages to still think that she's, yeah, it's such a dichotomy, like to have those equal and opposing belief in oneself, which is good. Like, you know, I think Summa Cum Loudmouth was saying, like, I wish I could just, you know, have a fraction of her belief in herself, and really just a
man.
fraction, not too much more than that. But
if we all had the self-confidence that Sarah Boone has,
Yeah,
I mean,
the levels of achievement.
we'd have a world full of narcissists is what we'd have. Maybe that's not a good thing.
Well, yeah, there'd be a
Maybe
lot more people unpleased with the way the rest of the world's treating them. Like they think they're the main character.
Maybe a little humility is a good thing.
It's
AI agents.
But I don't know that she knows how to express humility in any way, shape, or form. She kind of seems to, anytime somebody's trying to help her, and I think I mentioned this in my videos, it's every time somebody tries to extend a lifeline to her.
Right.
She swims as far and as fast away from it as she possibly can.
Mm.
And it's like, you do understand this is your chance to be helped.
Exactly.
And you know, the only reason she's in the position she is because of who she is. She literally made it impossible for anybody not only to help her, but to want to help her.
Because I think too, she makes, like, when somebody does an outreach to her, instantly it becomes a test of, well, how willing to help me are you? So instead of just taking the help that's being offered, she now wants to, well, are you really on my side? So then, like you say, swimming away from the rescuers, as the buoy's being thrown to her. And, okay, you really do want to help me. I can trust you now because you gave 110%.
She's a special kind of person, isn't
Indeed.
she?
If you go to the next video in the feed, I believe this will be Patricia Cashman and the Please Make Her Start Being Nice to Me.
Oh, this is going to be gold. I already know.
Patricia Cashman will be the blonde lawyer with the curly hair. You just see the back of her head through most of but I think she's going to be the one that starts off this video. And there's a good part to look to just listen for Sarah trying to interrupt her as she's talking about phone calls, and Judge Kraynick shuts her down with, "Nobody told you to stop talking this morning." And I wish I could find the clip because she did talk for a while, but I don't know if Court TV still has that one. But anyway, yeah, let's let it run with Patricia, known as Bitch Ash Cashman, in Sarah's tablet messages.
My goodness.
Judge, I've obviously not seen the letter. Ms. Boone is correct. She has walked out of the last two visits when I've tried to review things with her. Just so the court knows, I've spent probably 20 hours, a little bit more, a little bit less, with Ms. Boone. She has lots of lists, lots of questions. In reviewing the court file, she was distressed previously about having access to her lawyers. I have taken collect phone calls from her that are at my expense. JAC doesn't reimburse you because I think it's important for clients to have access. I have spent...
Please, no one's interrupted you this morning, Ms. Boone.
As I said, I've spent over 20 hours going through...
Just a little talk to the hand.
When I tried to update her with regard to the depositions that I took recently, she opted to exit the jail conference. When I tried to review some things with regard to discovery as to things I wanted to make sure she was aware of, she walked out. She has asked me repeatedly for a copy of some medical records. Based
this
on
is good.
discovery of previous attorneys, one of the copies of those medical records had her handwritten notes. So she had a copy given to her previously. She'd reviewed them with previous attorneys. I sent her a new copy. Some of the things that she thinks are important from a lawyer perspective, perhaps I don't attach the same importance to. And you try to explain that to a client.
You try and explain it.
I know the court's in a difficult position, but at this point, we're at that impasse of, if she walks out of every conference that I have with her, I'm not sure what that says about the attorney-client relationship.
Ma'am, you said there was something else that you had other than a 58-page submittal or letter. What other information is it that you're seeking to have me take a look at?
It's things that I've been working on in the meantime. It's things that she likes to tell me is not necessary, but I know for a fact it is necessary. She likes to, in quotes, put things to rest all the time, and tells me I'm not having this conversation with you. So I'm not going to waste my time, and I, being in jail, have supposedly abundant amounts of. She's not going to waste my time because she's not going to explain something to me. And I have taken it upon myself to explain it to myself because she refuses to do so. I don't understand what it is that she has against me. I have told her from day one that her snotty attitude was inappropriate, and I try very hard to bear with her and her attitude.
Pause it right there.
I don't think I'm doing wrong to her, but I feel that.
Pause it and we'll rewind to the beginning of her giving her little speech here, because a lot to unpack already. We don't want to lose it. This is your first time watching this, right?
Yes.
Could you imagine being in court and having this client give this assessment of your snotty attitude and how you're always trying to put things to rest?
So I can totally see somebody doing that, and I'm reminded of other attorneys I've talked to who have actually had this very same conversation that the attorney's having with the judge right now, just about the lack of cooperation and everything. And we talked about expectations earlier, but then Sarah rises it and she turns it into something. I really think she believes she's making an argument. I really think she does.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is she's the only one who thinks she's making an argument.
Yeah. And I think she has such vivid conversations in her own head that she reinforces herself. So, she initially, maybe this is a good idea. By the time she gets to court, this is a great idea. I've thought of it. I've thought about it 100 different ways, plus the 100 prioristic ways I thought about it before, keeping track of all of them. I know my arguments. I'm going to come in here and lay it all out for the judge, and he's going to be disgusted by Patricia Cashman's performance.
There's an Oscar Wilde quote that a man who represents himself has a fool for a client. And it has nothing to do with what your knowledge or lack of knowledge of the law is. It has to do with the fact that you're so close to your own situation that you don't see your own pitfalls.
Exactly.
And that's why, you get these experienced lawyers who, anytime something comes up, they very rarely try to handle it on their own. They always call another attorney, and it's not because they don't know the law. It's not because they're good. I mean, Alan Dershowitz could probably take on 90% of the attorneys in America.
But Alex Murdaugh recently overturned, but he keeps trying to act as his own lawyer on the stand, thinking he's smarter than everyone, and just like you say, way too close to the events that he doesn't realize.
Way too close.
Yeah, and he doesn't realize what he's coming off on the stand.
You can have a savvy attorney walk you right into a trap that you can't back out of. And if you're thinking that you've prepared for this, or you think you understand the intent of the question and you really don't, you can walk right into that, and then you're in a place that you can't back out of. And that's why it's so important, even if you know the law, even if you know your rights, you really should look to get an attorney, because you're too close. You don't know.
Exactly. And then, and here, this is really, I think this was her last best shot. From everything that I know about Patricia Cashman, I imagine that what happened is she came into a meeting with Sarah and said, look, you've had 6 lawyers. I'm the last one you're going to get. Smarten the fuck up. Sit the fuck down. I'm going to tell you, this is how, there's 3 defenses you have, and all of them are going to get you 15 years minimum. Take the fucking plea. Yeah. And Sarah took offense, don't talk to me. I'm your client. I'm the boss. Can I talk to your manager? And that,
You're so right. Can I talk to your manager?
yeah.
Sarah Boone would be that person.
And I think she thinks
Sarah
the
Boone.
judges are the prosecutors' managers. I don't think, I think she's that, disconnected from the way the legal process works, that she thinks complaining to the judges about these prosecutors is getting them in trouble with, their manager.
Yeah, it's so. We can all agree, right? Her grasp of reality is tenuous at best.
Well, yeah.
When it's there at all.
It's most and self-created. It's like she's living in her own little world, and we're just got to peek into the looking glass. We want to rewind it by about a minute and a half. We'll listen to her complain about Cashman in full.
All right, yeah, let's go back right about here. Oh, a little further. There we go. We'll start here.
If she walks out of every conference that I give with her, I'm not sure what that says about the attorney-client relationship.
Ma'am, you said there was something else that you had other than a 58-page
Other.
submittal or letter. What other information is it that you're seeking to have me take a look at?
Did I hear him right? 58 pages?
Oh yeah, that is a piece of work. I might send you to the link. There's a creator named SKR that does reads of all of her documentation, in addition to long form just rant videos over all of her content. But the 58-page letter, it's something. It's almost like my Mount Everest. Eventually, I want to get to it, but I need to really build up my strength and power. Just reading 4 to 6 pages of her kind of drives me a little crazy.
I haven't read the 58 pages. Don't know a whole lot about what's in there. I might.
Her ad for the attorney's in there. So the circus ad for the attorney, that was part of the 58-page letter.
Gotcha. Okay, so I am familiar with a little bit. That I guess it's been a while since I've done anything with it, but we need to file get on gov.org or change.org or whatever it is, and get the 58-page letter in the Smithsonian, because that belongs to the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be great.
It's already in the YouTube Smithsonian of Sarah Boone fans, I'm sure. That might be a good video to do. I'll think about it. I'll work on that. But almost like good one. Like Black Mirror did an episode on the Black Museum, and it was all the terrible technology from the show kind of featured in this menagerie. I could see doing a similar thing with all of the Sarah Boone-isms. I'm going to let that percolate while we watch.
Okay. All right, so we'll pick it up here.
I've been working on it in time. It's things that she likes to tell me is not necessary, that I know for a fact it is necessary.
I know for a fact.
Most all the time, and constantly tells me I'm not having this conversation with you. So I'm not going to waste my time, and I, being in jail, have supposedly abundant amounts of. She's not going to waste my time because she's not going to explain something to me. And I have taken the time myself to explain it to myself because she refuses to do so. I don't understand what it is that she has against me. I have told her from day one that her snotty attitude was inappropriate, and I try very hard to bear with her and her attitude. I don't know what it is that I'm doing wrong to her, but I feel that her attitude has equaled prejudice, which is not in my favor, especially considering she's supposedly represented my life.
Okay. Give me an example of, if you could, of items
Here
that
we
you
go.
believe important. Imagine being able to build an app with your...
Would you look at that?
Yeah, the example is going to be great because Judge Kraynick does exactly what he needs to, because she's just freeform rambling. And give me an example. What was something she did? What was the lie? And wait till you hear what she lied about. We were talking about her bond hearing before.
So, she hits on something that a lot of people say, and I heard it a lot as a police officer and a police supervisor, and it's something to the effect of, this person was rude.
Right.
And do you know what that translates into? I was told something
Mhm.
that I didn't agree with. Somebody told me something they had no right to tell me. It hurt my feelings. It offended me. It did something. Well, they told you exactly what you needed to hear based on the circumstances, and I'd always laugh. When I was a patrol supervisor, my chief would be like, "Oh, we got a complaint that one of the officers was rude," and I'd ask who it was, and knowing the officer the way I did, are they going to make a formal complaint? Well, they want us to look into it. No formal complaint. I'm not looking into it.
Yeah.
Rudeness is a subjective standard. All right. And it always comes down to your officer said I couldn't do something that I feel entitled to do. I said, I'm not wasting my time on it. And he's like, well, can you just take a look? And I'd look at it. I'd crumple it up. I'd throw it in the trash can. No action taken.
No, exactly.
I go about what I was doing.
And to a degree, it's almost a sign that you're doing a good job. Like, you don't want, people like, wow, you were fantastic. You want people enforcing the law equally and objectively. Like,
I had an officer, and every time we deal with somebody, well, this officer says it's okay. This officer never has a problem with me doing it. And I'm like, well, I supervise him, and I'm telling you there's a problem with you doing it. So,
and I have a problem with him saying that, and we'll be discussing that in private.
Yeah, there's a reason I'm in law school right now. But anyway. Oh, did we lose our volume? Oh, we sure did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
No.
That was me.
Oh, no, it's because of the ad. Yeah. No, that's the way to do it too. Mute over the ad. I'll find something to say to talk over it.
Okay. Give me an example, if you could, of items that you believe are important. Ms. Cashman is not giving attention to or dismissing as you may have framed it.
Yes, Your Honor. She likes to tell me that I don't like her answers. She's not giving me any answers to this. I've written 3 pages worth of questions, but I'm still waiting for her and any other attorney to actually answer for me, such as, why can't I have a bond?
Why can't I have a bond?
Why can't I speak with my investigator? Why can't I have my medical records? Why can't I fully utilize my constitutional rights? There's 3 pages worth of questions that I have.
What constitutional rights specifically?
I'm very wary about having a fair trial at this point. There are a handful of other amendments that I have been researching and working on and trying to incorporate. To me, what I have written to you is obvious, and apparently from the correspondence that I get from the world, South Korea was the last place that I received.
South Korea.
So I don't know what I'm doing wrong other than wanting to have a very successful outcome. It's just been long and drawn out, and I believe that God obviously willing to me as much as I do him in order to give me this very unique adventure that I am on, and I'm doing my best to let everyone know who I really am as opposed to the malicious murderer that everyone thinks that I am. I don't feel that she can do that.
We still think that, Sarah.
The reason why I'm here.
She gets to a point, and instead of taking the W, she keeps talking.
Yeah.
Like the fair trial thing, I totally, a lot of publicity,
It's a reasonable argument, even if she's not really well based on it. It's something that's reasonably worried about. Yeah.
But then she destroys it because she just keeps talking. And that's why attorneys tend not to let their clients testify in their own defense.
Or advise against it, because it's unfortunately the one choice they have, right? Or one of 2 choices.
Strenuously against it.
Yeah.
Now sometimes you've got somebody. Sometimes the case warrants it, but you also have to have the right defendant to be able to do that. You need somebody who knows when to stop talking. We all agree Sarah Boone is not that witness.
This came up during the Betty Broderick rewatch we were doing, because she's another one that on the stand, we're watching it and chatting going, why did she think that it was a good idea to take the stand? because she's given so much evidence against herself while she's up there litigating like little battles from, their divorce that had nothing to do with the murder case. And just like Sarah gets on the stand and, you'll hear later how she, tries to justify what she did to George by, oh, well, he was really mean to me on our first date. Big thank you to RN2 Moms. Gave out 5 free memberships to Dan D True Crime. Detective Wobbuffet, congratulations. Harps GG, Amy Lou, Shiloh Gal, Lori M. You've all received free memberships thanks to RN2 Moms. Thank you very much. Cowboy, I got to send you a link too to get this as a collab video. So once it uploads, but yeah, I got to get your channel in on this. Hey, Paul Clank is here. Welcome, Paul Clank NYC. I love your audio ducking too. I'm trying to be careful with it, but you have it so it cuts out if we talk while the audio's on, right? Or is that just a natural feature that you've got? I'm noticing when I talk, it's cutting out the audio from the feed, from the video. It's a good thing.
Oh, I'm kind of going back to my, setting up the camera and just doing everything on my own and just pausing the video and doing all that. But I'm glad it's working out.
Yeah.
I hope everybody's enjoying it.
No, I know just when it's playing too, you've got the audio ducking. I haven't been able to figure that part out on my own, but weuld talk about it more offline.
But we are not changing anything.
Yeah, no, leave it.
To hope that she will come in with a gentle, softer side and actually listen to what it is that I'm saying and see the bigger picture other than what's the one avenue that she keeps going down. There's other ways to win and more than one way. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not saying that I'm trying to remove her. I'm just trying to ask you, please, forgive me for having to ask you for this. If you could please let her know, please, to just be nice to me and have a welcoming attitude, and things will probably change, and I will not get up and I walk out. Please don't lie to me. Please don't give me half-truths. And
what instances where there's been falsities or lies that have been told to you by Ms. Cashman? Can you give me an example?
Just one.
my biggest is, for me being here ongoing 5 years, no one has ever bothered to try to get me a bond.
What's the lie? You said that she has lied to you. What is the lie?
The process of getting a bond. She lied to my brother in regards to telling him that he would need to come down to the courthouse to have multiple photographs taken for documentation. He would have to bring security information leads to his house.
Sorry to interrupt.
All right. Okay, we'll let him interrupt while I continue talking. Big thank you to our N2 Mums, who says she believes in supporting Dan D. He really puts effort into bringing us content. I appreciate your recognition of that. It's, there's a little side story if you guys have been following my shorts, but there's channels that are following Sarah Boone. They're going offline. They're quitting because of the expenses. Like, I don't know Cowboy Criminology, if you've noticed, but my upload costs have tripled in the last month. They've gone from 0 all the way up to 0. Anyway, there's channels out there. They've been putting out content about the same amount of time as me, but said that they can't do it anymore because of the financial burden. So here's the smallest violin playing for those guys, and let's let it run.
That's.
I'll tell you more about it offline.
Okay.
Down to the courthouse to have multiple photographs taken for documentation. He would have to bring security information leads to his house.
Oh my, there's so much to say here. Where do we begin? Let me bring back.
I think we'll skip these guys and just go back to or maybe even to the next video, because actually rewind it a little bit just to listen to her finish, and then we'll go to the next video in the playlist.
Let's see where Sarah Boone actually finishes talking.
Yeah, just right at the very end, because she's I'm sure. We're at the beginning of this one, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay, yeah, let it go from there, because the judge is going to ask about the what specifically did she lie about, and she's talking about, well, the bond. So what happened is Patricia Cashman was talking to her brother about hey, if she bonds out under your, like, you signed for her, you're going to be her, she has to live with you. She doesn't have anywhere to stay, and then you kind of responsible if she does anything. And he has a wife too. So anyway, I guess Patricia Cashman basically outlined, hey, if you're signing on for her bond, she probably won't get it, but if she does, this is what, and you're going to have to come into court, and the cameras will be here the day that you're here, just like they're here every other day. Anyway, Sarah got pissed, said, you didn't need to say all that. He was going to do it. And then he talked to you, and he's telling me to take the plea. So that's what she's pissed off about here. And so when Kraynick asks, Judge Kraynick asks about what did she do, this is going to be her talking about the constitutional issue.
Okay. There's, when she was sitting there talking about, she mentioned something about how she's not listening to my argument. She's not. Lawyers tend to understand the argument you're trying to make.
Yeah.
It's just not relevant or helpful to the case. And it to you, it might sound great, but you kind of have to, last year I was working with a criminal defense attorney out here, and we were helping a commercial driver get a ticket get a ticket dismissed, or that was the goal.
Right.
And the driver kept saying, well, you need to argue this, you need to argue this, you need to argue this. And the lawyer was getting upset with the client. And he's just like, I don't know how to explain this to him. And he goes, you know what? You were a cop. You explain it to him. And so I laughed. I was like, let me explain the law enforcement side of this and why this. And so when I did that, he's like, oh, is that what he's upset about? Talking about the attorney. And I was like, yes, that's what he's upset about.
Yeah.
So I had to do a little translating there. But it is frustrating, but I'm sorry, remind me the attorney's name one more time.
Patricia Cashman.
Patricia. She doesn't seem like she's got time for a bunch of nonsense. And so she told Sarah what she needed to hear and basically explained, I understand the arguments you're trying to make. They're just not good arguments.
Yeah, her reputation going into this was that she was known for working with difficult clients. So I think in between Frank Bankowitz, who we saw in that first video, and Winston Hobson, who was appointed shortly after, so shortly I don't even have the video of the transition.
But Hobson, he didn't make it. He didn't make it any time.
No,
there was like no time between Bankowitz and Patricia.
Exactly. Like this is just months apart. So he basically took over and then just passed it over. Like that just didn't work out.
Shocker, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get volume first, and let's get back.
Let's go back in. We hit the pause button right before the break. Let's go back in and hear more. The defendant is addressing the judge as she's seated in the jury box.
To her, and then it turns into everything else, and then it turns into all these other different stories on why she won't do or why she has said certain things, and all this changes in a new case after I asked her for certain things, not just for the bond, but for other things also.
Okay, well, let's focus on the bond issue, because you said that she's lied to you, and what you've told me so far, none of that is inaccurate.
So how is it though, because I don't have any experience prior to this, I don't know the process of getting a bond other than what I have read, and it's just for her to do a bond, a motion for a bond hearing. But I didn't know that anyone, all of the other inmates, even officers, have ever said that they've had to do that process in order to have photographs taken and documented and use clues and visits to his house. He's not posting my bond, which I told her no in one time, but she still spooked him by asking by him thinking that he's going to have to, and it would threaten his security clearance considering he's in the service, the military. So she totally deterred me from having my brother's address in order for me to have a motion for a bond. No one else has even any fathers even asked me for one, and I will be honest with you in the court. I know for a fact that however sky high my limit would be for my bond to receive, I know for a fact unless my fans would go Funday pages or God's will or however else it is he planned on flight risk because of the amount of information everybody already knows about me, what I look like, and what I eat currently, and so many other things. There's nowhere I could go if I were to even think about putting a flight risk. It's just the fact that I would like things to have a bond so I can say that I actually achieved something.
So I can say I achieved something. So I can talk over her if you just want to let it play. It looks,
yeah, sure.
Yeah. So and the reason for doing this is their creative content, like the commentary. So it's better to just use the court content from a copyright perspective and the stuff that's their own, unless we're going to comment on what she's saying, better to talk over her. This is what audio ducking is, though. So me talking and not hearing her at all. There we go. It's coming back. Oh, no, it's back to an ad. It is an ad. As long as, yeah, anyway. Where are we here?
So it's interesting that she doesn't understand that her brother could have lost his security clearance. I guess he's in the military. Or
That's
does
right.
Something with the military.
Yeah.
And she doesn't understand what a huge imposition that could put on him. And once it's all about her. It's all about her because she doesn't care what effect that could have on him and his livelihood, his career.
Well, that's a great point.
The situation she caused.
Why don't you expand a little on that? Because it's something that I've heard speculated in a few chats that I've been in before. But what impact would it have if you're a member of the military and someone you bonded out, violated bond by, say, getting drunk and, getting arrested at the bar near your place?
Well, if you hold a position of trust within the military, if you have a high security clearance, something like that, you are expected to conduct yourself in a certain way, and you're not supposed to open yourself up to different liabilities. So they don't care that you go out and have a drink. They care that you go out and you get drunk and you start telling everybody what you do, where you work,
right, all
of that stuff. You don't just do when you have a security clearance like that, you don't just do a security clearance on the person, you do it on their entire orbit, like who is around this person. And so if you have somebody that can bring unnecessary attention to you, somebody who could potentially compromise anything that you might bring home, even if it's just knowing you have access to certain information. So it imposes a huge liability on that individual, and those clearances are not easy to get.
So it's possible that Sarah's already ruined it for him. Like this bond, no bond, the fact that she's a publicly known, searchable, like anyone who meets her brother, abroad, it wouldn't take very much to connect.
Not quite that strict.
Okay.
But bringing her into the home, because she would have to live, according to her, she'd have to live with the brother.
Right.
She'd have to be able to stay with him, live in his home. That's where the issue comes in.
Okay.
You have somebody. So
by extension, it's because also her other brother is at least part of the criminal justice system. So two out of three. Yeah. So
they must have been the A students. She must have stolen their report cards.
2 out of 3 for nature versus nurture.
No doubt. Okay, let's see here. Here we go.
Your house, what it said was, Meady's been in the courtroom for all the hearings, and it's likely that they would be here for the bond hearing, and that your face could be on the television, and it was a concern for him.
That was the other issue. Cameras being in the courtroom,
right?
And him being visible. If he has that security clearance, that could certainly pose an issue too.
Okay.
Typically, people with high level security clearances, they don't have social media. They don't.
Right.
They try to avoid
low profile
appearing on camera. Yeah, very low profile. And this case is anything but.
I'm gonna just leave it at that. But Judge, I can't spend all my time defending what I'm doing and at the same time be effectively preparing a case for trial. In these situations, I know it puts the court in a very difficult position. As I see it, Ms. Boone has a couple options. Number one, she can ask you to represent herself. She has the right to. You have a Feretta hearing and determine whether she's capable. The court then has to address the issue of whether it's appropriate to appoint standby counsel. Obviously, since she believes not a word that I say after 40 years of doing
Give it a pause.
I'm probably not a lawyer, but
What do you know about the standby counsel ruling in this case?
Not in this case. I'm just familiar with the standby counsel for defendants who try to represent themselves.
So what Sarah starts proposing is that they fire Patricia Cashman, but that she gets standby counsel, and her interpretation of standby counsel is just counsel to stand by and act as her agent. Like, hey, how do I write this motion? How do I do this? And it's going to be explained to her in a later hearing that if she started, her first case was like pro se, the standby counsel would be there to observe everything, and then if you want the lawyer to step in and take over, right. But obviously she's not going to want the lawyer to take over. She basically wanted a secretary with a law degree.
Right, and they're there for in an advisory capacity. Yes, you can do this. No, you can't do that. You shouldn't ask this. You should ask this.
Okay.
It's very advisory. It's not.
They're not constructing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not constructing the defense. They're trying to give you, because you're representing yourself, you have the right to do that. They're trying not to let you get in more over your head than you already are. But then again, you have the option to listen to that advice or not, and you probably didn't listen before. But can we take a second to appreciate the judge and the clerk's poker faces while this is being explained? Like, you look at their facial expressions, and there is no movement. I'm just like, that is some top-notch poker face right there.
He is affectionately known as Judge Grayrock within the community, and it's because he maintains this demeanor through the whole trial, even through sentencing. So I wouldn't want to play poker with him at all. Like, you don't know if he's sitting on 7 deuce and, bluffing you to the all in. Like that look, he could have a pair of aces or 7 deuce offsuit. And
yeah, but I mean, they did no motion hearing. I mean, what to us is, and it's probably different when you're sitting there, and of course you're presiding over things. You probably have a different perspective, but I just think I would have such a hard time hearing this drivel and just looking around like, okay, like, am I in candid camera? Like, what is going on?
Now, if you're impressed with that, because these guys are pros, right? Obviously, he's, right. To be a judge. But as the trial goes on, he brings in his interns, or he's teaching a class. So there's 4 or 5 people that are sitting behind him, and they're just sitting there stone-faced. There's different kids each day. They're all young, like, aspiring law clerks or, whatever. But he has them, I guess, watching the trial. My personal impression when I first saw it was that when he got the notes of the trial, like maybe the first, I think when he had to review the interrogation, because James Owens put in a Miranda violation. So he's like, okay, I'll watch it, and I'll, if I see something, or I'll do you instead of wasting the court's time and watching it here on court time, I'll watch it tonight, and then I'll be prepared to answer any questions tomorrow, since it's coming into evidence anyway. Anyway, when he saw that, he probably realized how crazy this case was and told his clerks, like, I'm going to do something special. You guys are going to be able to sit stone-faced. This is going to be your test if you can be a judge. If you feel like smirking, and this is what the case is. But,
yeah, that's wild. But that's a good judge. You shouldn't be able to tell what they're thinking.
Yeah, no, and I think one thing is at the beginning he's very deferential to Sarah. Like, I'm sure he's read the case notes, but he's given her every opportunity. Like, I'm not going to be the one that gets you an appeal. I'm going to, give you as much room, as much leash as you're willing to take.
Yeah. And again, another person who kept trying to help her, only for her to swim away from the buoy.
Exactly.
The court then has to address the issue of whether it's appropriate to appoint standby counsel. Obviously, since she believes not a word that I say after 40 years of doing criminal defense, I'm probably not the right lawyer for that. The other thing is, she gets one last lawyer, it either works or it doesn't. And sometimes, unfortunately, the court gets put in a position that you have to have that conversation with a client that you don't. If you want your counsel of choice, then you need to hire your counsel of choice, and everyone can certainly do that. And if you're indigent, the court can only go through this so many times with Ms. Boone coming to the court, and there ending up being irreconcilable differences such that the counsel that you have appointed can't move forward and provide effective assistance to counsel.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm inclined to go ahead and figure out.
Patricia Cashman is right. She has an obligation.
And how much more do we have in this video? There's still some more trial, right?
Not too much.
Okay.
Left.
Down the helmet. Well, that's about it. I noticed when we were having our chat during the last ad break, it was some kind of pooping commercial, like something about. It was just a hilarious side image because we're having a fairly serious conversation, and I'm just seeing these diagrams showing like poop flowing through the bowels. It was like some sort of a regularity medicine.
But considering the subject matter, not entirely off point.
No, exactly. We could have been streaming it with Sarah talking, and it would have made more sense. But and that's what I kind of miss about the ads. And I've got premium now, so I can be more professional. But there is something about just embracing the ad break that came up. And
yeah, I usually do. When I do mine, I usually download my videos, and then that way I don't have the ad breaks and everything.
Right.
Just you live and learn.
If you like the jelly support bra, make sure.
That's right.
Is the first full week of August, and it starts again on the last full week of August. So we could set it then, but I know that you have trial case management with Judge Marquez on the 20th or the 21st of June, which may impact that.
And I have a trial certain with Judge Harris August 5th, and
That's who I
Pause it for a second. The audio issues, they've corrected it a lot. If you watch this live, the audio was all over the map. So you would have like somebody in the gallery, like Sarah Boone testifying from the jury gallery, and it would be so quiet. And then all of a sudden, Judge Kraynick would come in and be like, "Okay, Miss Boone," and it would be like way like you jump out of your seat. Because you'd have it like turned right up so you could hear if the attorneys were talking away from the podium or the lectern. Right. At the lectern, loud and clear. Walking away, you're just trying to pick it up like ambient audio. Anyway, so because of that, you're hearing a lot of extra white noise in the background. That's amplifying all those bits. So they've done some very clever audio balancing after the fact because it was terrible to watch it live. Anyway, let her run.
Word for week. So the options that I see it are, we could specially set this for the week of August 26th, or we set it for the trial period beginning September 30. The hiccup with that first week of September 30 is we have a court holiday on Thursday, October the 3rd, which would limit us to a 4-day trial period, which I don't believe is not sufficient. So that would take us to either October 7 or October 14. So based on the court's trial calendar, that's what I've got available. August 26th, October 7, or October 14.
I think the October 7 or October 14th is more realistic, Judge. I know that Mr. Cacciatore has other trials too, and other things on other judges' pretrial dockets and those things.
We're specially set in July and in September. Mr. Cacciatore?
I think we can, I think October 7th is fine.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to specially set this matter for the second week of the September 30 trial period, beginning Monday, October 7th. We will set this matter for trial case management on the 24th of September, right? On September 24 at 9 a.m. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. We'll do you at 1:30 in the afternoon.
It's Tuesday, September 20th.
Tuesday, September 24 at 1:30 in the afternoon for our trial case management. Trial date certain on October the 7th. Deputy, if you could please grab the 2 packages of submittals from Ms. Boone. Oh, I thought it was 2 different envelopes, ma'am. Okay. I will review that, and after the review, the court will either issue an order or set this matter for hearing based on what it is that's been presented by Ms. Boone. Mr. Cacciatore, anything else we need to address this morning, sir? Ms. Cashman, anything else we need to address?
Not that I'm aware of at this time, Judge.
Ms. Boone, is there anything else you need to bring to my attention at this time?
I bet there is.
I was waiting for having you fly there. I really do hope that you review thoroughly what it is that I'm asking for from my attorney who's supposed to be representing me for the trial that is happening in October. Because I don't understand how I'm supposed to be able to go into the trial when I don't have to defend myself.
Ma'am, I've asked for your submittals. I will be reviewing them. All right, thank you. All right, y'all, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thanks, Judge.
So that choppy audio was exactly like I was saying. There was very little real audio in the trial at that time, and I think that was to pick it up. But the interesting thing about that, not what Sarah was saying, but this is still the point where Judge Kraynick was saying, is there anything else you would like to say, Miss Boone? There's a turning point where he stopped saying it because she always has something to say. So then he starts saying, do you have anything else related to the matter, Miss Boone? Or do you have any other objection, Miss Boone? But he started specifying for what he wanted her to say rather than, do you have anything else to say? Well, yes, if you don't mind, please. I'd like to say how difficult this is for me to just do this on the fly, if you don't mind, please. Are you thinking about heading out, or are you able to stick
No,
okay.
I'm good. I'm good. So what I've done is I downloaded this next video so we won't have the ad interruptions.
Okay.
So I'm trying to stay just a little bit ahead.
All right. Well, let's see what happens.
It's really difficult to guest host and engineer.
No,
and
it's good teamwork.
You know all the problems.
Yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Absolutely.
Exactly. The next video I think is about 26 minutes as well, and then the one after that is an hour and 40. So maybe we'll, at the end of this one, call it the end of this Friday stream and save the hour and 40 as next Fridays. And if you can join me, that's awesome. If not, I'll keep doing them every Friday morning till we get through the Sarah trial. I think that's going to take us until, I think I'd put it at 18 weeks if I'm doing 3 to 4 hours every Friday morning. Yeah, so this is going to take us through to the summer, but only once a week, so it's not going to be as grueling as the Betty Broderick daily grind.
I don't know how you did that.
It was fun. It was,
it was impressive to watch. As a fellow content creator, I was like, man, that is a level of dedication right there. It's like, man.
I basically
awesome.
set my mind to it that if I wanted to do trial coverage, you already have to be able to do 5-6 hours without knowing how long some of the days are going to be. Yeah. So with Betty, at least I knew I was going to have the content. I wasn't going to have days where I just have to talk for like 4 hours waiting until they came back from a conference or something like that.
Right.
And by doing it daily, I knew I wouldn't just, kind of get bored with it. Like, it was long enough that if I started doing it weekly, it would have been a year before I was through it. So I was like, okay, no, I'm just going to power through. I don't have much going on in April. And it mostly worked out. There was a couple of times where it got a little hairy for time, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Have you broken 1,000 subscribers yet?
I am on the edge. Let's see.
You were close last time I looked.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, super close.
989 subscribers.
Oh my gosh, that is just right there.
Oh, I'm going to quickly mention. So it was I'm Not Buying It in my chat said, why can't I buy a super chat? And I said, because, well, hold on. I said it's because we only do gift memberships and memberships here. My thinking is that it's too important to grow my community, and the super chats and super stickers are super appreciated, but they're just kind of a one-time thing. The money comes in, you read the comment, and then it's over. Anyone who gives like even 5 gift memberships, that might tell somebody who watched the channel 2 months ago, 3 months ago, that subscribed, that maybe isn't watching anymore. Hey, check out Dan D True Crime. Why are people giving out memberships?
It's kind of neat.
Yeah, and so it'll bring people back to the channel that, maybe, haven't been watching recently, and, maybe they appreciate what I'm doing now, whereas before they might have, just seen some of the shorts I did, or, but anyway, I just wanted to focus on building the channel rather than making it a monetary thing. So I set my memberships to the lowest possible price. Did some badges and that sort of thing, and just trying to build that way slowly and organically. So the people who are here want to be here. It's not like YouTube's pushing my stuff out to everyone.
Right.
But
I think that's probably one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me as a creator is somebody said that they were scrolling and my video popped up on their algorithm, and then they started watching my channel and just became a fan. Yeah. And I think that's so cool. I think the organic growth, people sharing the channel, people just finding it, just happened to see a reel pop up and was like, oh, kind of cool. And for me, it was always the background. Like I started watching your channel because I loved your background, and I was like, I love the background.
Yeah.
So.
I remember some of your first videos, you were so small in the background, like the background was at least 80% of your on camera. You're just this way down.
It's so difficult. It really is. I mean, you think I'm just gonna set up my camera. I'm just gonna do a video, and you don't really understand until you start watching people who have been doing it for a while and who are really good at it.
Right.
And you're like, wow, they do such a really good job. And it's like you always kind of wonder, am I ever gonna be there? But
yeah.
Man, congratulations. I mean, you're so close to 1,000.
Yeah.
That's going to be great. You'll have to do something special for that.
I do have something planned. So there's something I've been wanting to do called Sunday Funday. My brother and sister-in-law and I, 3 grown adults, full-sized, are going to take 3 magnums of wine, some paint, some puzzles, and replicate George and Sarah's day as she described it, not as it was, but, so we're going to start the day with wine and do a chore, and then we're going to paint. We'll probably paint pictures of Sarah, and then we'll post those online. Then I'm going to do a live stream of us trying to do the puzzle after the 3 magnums of wine are done, 1,000 pieces, because she claims that got done in like 2 hours, and, we're all puzzled out. We got it all done except for that one piece that was missing. Oh, how relatable. So anyway, I'm planning to do a Sunday fun day kind of Mythbusters. Like, it's not possible. We outweigh George and Sarah by about 300 pounds as a group. That way I'm not calling out any one of us. But I'm definitely,
oh my gosh.
I personally outweigh the 2 of them.
I think that's going to be hilarious.
I just want to shout out, I'm Not Buying It to CL McIntyre, Nikki Davis, J Mac, Bridget Tile, Bridge Gentile as the people who got their free memberships. Thank you very, very much. I'm Not Buying It too.
That's very cool.
I think the bailiff on screen, I think she might wear a wig. Isn't she the one that has the long dreadlocks that's usually taking care of Sarah? This, this may be good early footage of her, because we'll see later, but she's kind of got like this Whoopi Goldberg, very thick, or at least her regular handler. This could just be another lady, but same physique.
All right. So can you see the video okay?
Yeah.
I've got the... Let me know if it sounds good.
I can hear audio. This is right around COVID now. Or no, it's well after COVID. That's just somebody who's sick. It's crazy that this happened at COVID, the original crime, though. Like,
right.
The way Chelsea was coughing. Oh, she's smirking and smiling. Well, she feels good about what's going to happen. She's got a plan.
I want to...
She might be looking into the gallery. I think there's somebody, like maybe a friend that's come to court, like...
Yeah, because that's almost a look like if I was going to guess, like there's somebody that she's familiar with. She's comfortable enough in this situation to make that face, because I think a lot of times somebody in that position would.
You'll see.
It would be hard to.
You'll see more of this face as the trial goes on. She becomes so oblivious to the way that she's appearing on camera.
You could, I think I've mentioned this before, her facial expressions and body language would be great training for law enforcement, for things to look out for.
If only everyone was so easy to read, though. She's like reading Green Eggs and Ham as opposed to War and Peace. Like,
you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
you got to start somewhere. But when you see the emotions so blatantly on display, it's so much easier to know what to look for. And then as you get better with that,
right.
Dr. Paul Ekman, who is like the guru for understanding facial expressions and body language, has actually built a system that tests you on reading people's facial expressions and body language. And you can program it for anywhere from 1/6 of a second all the way down to like 1/30th of a second. Just a real quick flash.
Okay.
And I've only been able to do it at like 1/25th of a second.
Oh.
Which is still pretty good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, lots of practice, being around criminals.
Right.
So, it's you get good at it. But I mean,
I bet it's good for poker too.
If you were teaching somebody how to do it,
yeah,
it'd be really good. It'd be really good practice. I think if I was doing an academy, teaching about what demeanors to look for, this would be a great place to start.
Shout out to LZB, who sent a true crime gift membership to NJ Leonardo's. Now, I think Court TV fixes it too when there's audio issues like that.
Catch you on behalf of the state.
I don't think it's Peter. I think it's too soon. Ken Tusukaroy is asking.
Counselors, good morning. What is the status for where we find ourselves currently, Ms. Cashman?
Pause it quickly.
Boone wants to speak to you about.
Do I need to turn that down a little?
No, it's going to correct itself. Okay. But this is one of the hearings where the judge, like if you were listening to Sarah, she was super quiet, and that's why you hear all the white noise. And then as soon as the judge came in, it sounded like the microphone's in his mouth, like literally inside of his mouth.
Okay.
So they kind of balance it out. I was listening to the beginnings of all these streams start off really bad audibly, and then kind of correct themselves within the first 30 seconds or so, or at least balance to as good as they can get. And there's for the kids that are doing the 6-7 thing. Go ahead, play.
About that, Mr. Cacciatore and I have had email correspondence and a phone conference this week, and we believe that it can be ready to be set for a trial date late August, early September. I've got a trial certain murder in front of Judge Harris that's going to be a minimum of a week starting August 5th. I am out of state starting September 14th, I believe, for a week. And at this point, those are the calendar issues that I have other cases set, but I'm, as you know, Judge, waiting on pretrial and waiting to see what really goes and what doesn't. Obviously, I have other things on trial dockets through July, August, and September, but those are the for sure's.
Okay, all right, thank you. Mr. Cacciatore, anything from your side of the ledger, sir?
No, I think this court's aware of the date services that we have, that were already set. Other than that, we're pretty amenable to probable those dates.
Okay, all right. Madam Clerk, if you could swear in Ms. Boone, please.
Raise your right hand if you want to. You swear or affirm that the testimony you give shall be true.
Ma'am, good morning. Your lawyer advised that there was something that you wanted to bring to my attention.
All that she said, she was always a beautiful woman. Is something that I
Pause it for a sec. Can you turn on the closed captions, or is that too?
Yeah, that's what I was. Whoops, that didn't work out very well, did it?
And they bring up, it might have been Christina Pena, who is someone who spoke on Sarah's behalf at the end of the trial, who was a cellmate of hers in jail. That might have been the person that's in the gallery she's smiling to. And RN2 Moms brings up, never use an iPhone to buy a membership. And that's 100% true. If you're buying memberships, it's 99 cents US in the US. If it says $1.49, it's because you're being charged an app store fee. Even if you use your iPhone, you can go on to like YouTube through your browser. And as long as you're buying the membership through YouTube, like youtube.com rather than the YouTube app, you don't have to pay the extra membership fee. So particularly if you're gifting memberships, you're basically just giving extra away. I feel bad that we didn't mention it before people gifted, but yeah.
Okay, so unfortunately, I don't have a way to put on the subtitles.
No worries. What's happening here, I think, is that Sarah is pretty happy with herself because she's going to sever her relationship with Patricia Cashman here. And that's why she was smug going in. And this is why Patricia Cashman is saying, well, look, this is my schedule. I'm sure she's going to bring up some stuff to you. But I think that's what's happening here.
Okay.
Clerk, if you could swear in Ms. Boone, please.
Raise your right hand if you want to. You swear or affirm that the testimony you give shall be true.
Ma'am, good morning. Your lawyer advised that there was something that you wanted to bring to my attention.
was that all that she said? She was always a beautiful woman. Is something that that she brought to your attention. So I don't know, and she's not just looking all the time. If that was all that she said.
You've listened to everything in open court. You've been here. You've listened to everything that's been presented so far as to the discussions that Ms. Cashman has had with Mr. Cacciatore and readiness for trial and her dates of availability and unavailability. That's what's been presented to me this morning. You've heard the same thing that I've heard.
Thank you. I actually have an envelope for you that I would like to give to you regarding a letter. It's a lot easier for me to tell you in writing, and it's also put on the court's website, so everyone is aware.
Everyone.
I have experienced anyone like Ms. Cashman, and I have repeatedly, the reason why I'm here is the whole hook thing, where she will change her disposition and her attitude towards me, and it doesn't matter how dumbed down I am to myself to try to coexist with her. I've even come up with a solution to have a pretend judge and the
Pretend judge.
so she will try, hopefully, to treat me appropriately and professionally, which she does not do. one of my meetings I got up and I walked out on her. The last time that I spoke to her was on a video visit that she tried to have in front of a 64 open day bunk dorm, where I repeatedly had asked me for a please schedule a face-to-face, face-to-face, face-to-face. The last time we spoke was on May 3rd, where I got up and I left the room because I could not take how she was treating me any longer, and every single time. So much so that I have to incorporate a pretend judge in order to...
Pause it there.
I feel that she is
Are you aware of pretend judge?
No, talk to me about pretend judge.
So Sarah is explaining to Judge Kraynick how she had to invent pretend judge for her conversations with Patricia Cashman so that she would treat her the way that she should treat her in the courtroom. Basically, you can't talk to me like that because, again, I was doing my impression earlier of Patricia Cashman coming in. Look, take the fucking deal. Shut the fuck up. You're not battered spouse. It's not self-defense. You're not getting away with it. You're not innocent. So she invented this pretend judge, like her imaginary friend. And whenever Patricia would be mean to her, she would invoke pretend judge and say, would you say that with pretend judge here? So she invented this imaginary character for her conversation to help her negotiate with her own lawyer. And yeah, you can see where Patricia Cashman is like, I'm doing my best, Your Honor. I've done all I can with her. I've dealt with some pretty difficult clients before, but this one takes the cake.
Okay, so let me ask, am I the only one who thinks of her doing this whole pretend judge scenario? Like they're sitting in the lawyer area of the jail, and like Sarah Boone just pulls out a sock puppet. Would you talk to
practically?
I mean, am I the only?
No, exactly. Like Casey and Finnegan,
like that in front of the pretend judge. Yeah, exactly. I'm just like,
pretend judge objects. Sustained.
Oh
She wouldn't have said sustained because she only learned what that word meant as we go forward. Hey, Victoria Carmen, welcome. What is up with the cheese hoarding? Victoria Carmen asked an interesting question, and you might be able to comment on this. When she first went to jail, one of the things that she got a discipline report for was for having a stash of cheese in her cell, like sliced cheese.
Yeah.
And apparently the inmates were giving it to her. And she took it as some sort of tribute. They all like me so much, they're giving me cheese. Is there any interpretation that you'd think of that would cause an inmate to give a new inmate cheese?
I don't really know.
I'll give you what our theory is as a community.
They think she's a rat.
There you go.
I mean, so my experience working in the prisons is like food is jealously hoarded.
Right.
And you don't just share food with people. I've had inmates come up, oh, I just want to give this soup to this guy because of, he's hungry, he missed out on chow, whatever. It's like, no, you're not. You're paying a bet. You're paying a debt. I don't think Sarah being into this, if they're just giving her food, it's probably because it's something that most inmates don't want anyway.
Right.
Or they were trying to set her up to get caught with it.
Right.
To see her get in trouble. That I could see. That
so
actually makes sense.
Maybe the twofer, like we're going to give her cheese because she's a rat. And you've seen the interrogation, right?
Yeah.
One of the things in the interrogation video is where she's talking about Eli and Kim, who were her neighbors. Eli and Kim. First off, Kim is automatically not nice. And Eli, well, he might be in the country illegally. And that is a little rat moment where, and not only that, plus all of the 911 calls where she's calling to say that George has beaten her.
Right.
But if the word got out in prison that, even in her interrogation, she's ratting out the neighbors for no reason. Like, why would you say, so-and-so needs a green card? He's still in the country, apparently. So thanks to Paul Klink, NYC, for pointing that out with an interview.
that actually tracks. But the only reason I could see the inmates willingly giving somebody food is it's somebody who's notoriously disliked, and they're trying to get a disciplinary
Well,
history.
and and that's the other side of it. First, we're going to give her the cheese because she's a rat, and second, we're going to tell the guards that she's got a stash of cheese in her cell, and then she'll get
that skins.
Yeah. And everyone just tear off a piece of cheese. We'll act like it's a tribute, hand them off to her because she's dumb. She'll just take them.
Yeah, because I mean, some of the most violent altercations I've ever seen in the prison have happened over food, and not even good food at that.
All right, let her run.
Face-to-face. The last time we spoke was on May 3rd, where I left the room because I could not take how she was treating me any longer, and every single time. So much so that I had to incorporate a pre-10 judge in order for her to treat me somewhat appropriately. And I feel that she is untruthful with me and full-blown prejudice against me, which I believe adds to her nasty attitude towards me. And I do not trust her. So I have prepared this for you. It's a letter and then a continuation of the letter from the video that you are aware of. And everyone constantly blames me that I am the reason why I am supposedly on attorney number 8, which I am not the reason for any of them. I put this in here also so you are aware. I refuse to be mistreated by her as my attorney. I'm shocked that she has a proposed trial date, considering the fact that I have not seen anything. I keep asking her for just a download of my phone and my medical records or for anything that I've asked pretty much all of the other attorneys as well. All of my questions that I keep asking her are in a letter to you. I'm shocked that she has a proposed trial date, considering the fact that I have not seen anything. I keep asking her for just a download of my phone and my medical records or for anything that I've asked pretty much all of the other attorneys as well. All of my questions that I keep asking her are in a letter to you. I didn't know if you would be the one to help me answer them or to spur her to finally answer them to me and hopefully truthfully. I don't know. As I said to you before in the past, you said that you are not able to intervene regarding my letters. I still want you to be aware of what it is that I am going through.
Well, so I saw her made a gesture. Maybe I just didn't get to it, but it's called an asymmetrical movement.
Okay.
And what that is when somebody's being deceptive or doesn't have confidence in what they're saying, it's kind of like you'll most likely recognize it when you make a joke that somebody doesn't take well and they give you that kind of one-sided smile.
Okay.
This is an asymmetrical smile. Instead of if you said something that was funny and I just like, oh, okay, yeah, you got me. Okay. Asymmetrical body movements are very telling. And one of the biggest ones is a one-sided shoulder shrug. And I thought I saw her make that movement when she said something, but always compare the word to with the body movement.
Okay.
Because Sarah is very static. She doesn't have a whole lot of body movement. So when Sarah does make a body movement, it 9 times out of 10 it means something. But I thought I saw her make this little one-sided shoulder shrug, because even at the angle she's sitting at, it would be you'd be able to recognize that only one shoulder went up. You'd be able to see it up here in the neck. But that's an indication that she's either being deceptive or she has she doesn't have confidence in what she's saying. So it's just a little something to pick.
I've drawn a few lines on the screen. If you put it back about 10 seconds, we'll see if we can see it now that you've identified it for us.
Go back just a little further.
My medical records or for anything that I've asked pretty much all together attorneys as well. All of my questions that I keep asking her are in a letter to you. I didn't know if you would be the one to help me answer them or to spur her to finally answer them to me and hopefully truthfully. I don't know. As I said to you before in the past, you said that you are not able to intervene regarding my letters. I still want you to be aware of what it is that I am going through still. And it's a matter of ethics and professionalism with how she should be treating me, and I shouldn't have to come up with a big-headed judge in order for her to do so. And also some other things that I've been working on in the meantime that I would like everyone else to be made aware of. That I don't just sit and be gone and watch soap operas all day. I fully apply
On the other side.
Yeah.
That was a real good one.
Judge, I've obviously not seen the letter.
You were absolutely right about how static she stays too. Like the head is moving, but the body is almost completely still until it's one of those.
And there it is right there. You can see, and her head actually kind of goes into that direction.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but even if you go back to the interview where she's talking to the two detectives, her body moves, especially her upper body, almost always stayed static. And so that's why I think she's such a great case study in learning about facial expressions and in body language. And I apologize for the audio and not being able to get the closed captions up. But if you were to pull this video up and you were to watch it on your own with the closed captioning, you'd be able to tell she doesn't have any confidence in what she's saying. Like, she knows she's swinging for the fences here.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just kind of her. But what's telling about it is even now she understands, or at least her body is betraying the fact that she knows she doesn't have confidence in it, which is kind of weird for Sarah.
She's also, just realizing, because she's still trying to make the argument, I just want you to know how bad it is. And it's like, she doesn't realize how it doesn't matter if the judge thinks that, her lawyer and her aren't getting along. Like, as long as the lawyer's doing their job.
Yeah.
No, doesn't really matter.
Lawyers and clients do not have to have, I had one of my professors was talking about representing a fairly wealthy individual. And she said that they were constantly at odds together about everything. But he never hesitated to pay a retainer, and he never hesitated to pay a bill.
Okay.
Because he was surrounded by sycophants, people who always told him what he wanted to hear. And so what he needed was somebody who was going to say, no, you can't do this for these reasons, and actually be able to back it up. And even though it was something that he wanted to do, he wanted to see it done. It was the lawyer's job to, and she said that there were a lot of blow-ups, but in the end, her job wasn't to be the friend. Her job was to be the lawyer.
Right.
And I think as charming and likable as Sarah is, she doesn't realize that not everybody's there to be her buddy.
Yeah. No, and maybe it's because she has so few friends that she thinks that that every new person in her life is a new friend, rather than realizing that, they're there because they're being paid to be there.
Oof. Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, almost everyone in her life, like from the clerk at the Publix to personal attorneys, but seems like everyone, like the property manager, there's no one in her life that isn't paid to be a part of it, besides sweet old Pearl Walker. She's a 98-year-old neighbor from down, 5 doors down. We'll see her in the trial.
That just seems so weird to have that level of dependence on other people, where you're surrounded by acquaintances, but you never really have friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. I understand people who don't have a lot of friends. I don't understand people who have no friends.
Gonna pop up
until I met Sarah. In that case, it's like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, just gonna pop up a picture of young Sarah here. I am anyway. Oh, I got to get out of the drawing tool. People who are looking for what Sarah looked like before she looked like she does now. Sarah on Nickelodeon. Guess you haven't seen that clip before either, eh, Cowboy?
No.
Yeah.
Was she really on Nickelodeon?
Yeah, she did this game show where it was her and Brian's brother, John. And it was just like really, hey, this is Sarah Paulson, and you're here with John Boone. And the host is like, she's just hanging at the mall. Is it your money or your parents' money? And lied and said it was her own money she'd spent. And but yeah, that's a young Sarah Paulson. It's my money.
Am I the only one who thinks it's weird that so many people who get charged with murder have been on like television game show kind of things?
Are you thinking Rodney Alcala?
Well, Rodney Alcala, there was that that one guy who was on Family Feud?
Yes.
And he ended up killing his wife.
Yeah.
I think he was in the military too.
There was a guy from Calgary that was on a reality dating show, and I think they'd shot it but hadn't put it, like maybe only the first episode had gone on or something like that, but then he ended up murdering his wife or ex.
Now Sarah Boone, I'm you almost kind of wonder if they could get the attention that they think they deserve, would they still... I don't know.
Oh, you've hit on a thing. That's something apparently narcissists, as long as they're happy, they're fine. They're actually quite a delight to be around. But the minute that everything isn't going the way of a narcissist, that's when, heads will roll. So,
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I think the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, as long as all the roses are painted red, nobody's losing their head.
That's right.
It's a perfectly fine world.
That's crazy.
Okay. Where's the letter? Okay.
I believe it's 58 pages.
Ms. Cashman?
Judge, I've obviously not seen the letter. Ms. Boone is correct. She has walked out of the last 2 visits when I've tried to review things with her. Just so the court knows, I've spent probably 20 hours, a little bit more, a little bit less, with Ms. Boone. She has lots of lists, lots of questions in reviewing the court file. She was distressed previously about giving access to her lawyers. I have taken collect phone calls from her that are at my expense. JAC doesn't reimburse you because I think it's important for clients.
We watched some of this earlier.
Please, no one's interrupted you this morning, Ms. Boone.
As I said, I've spent over 20
Shut her down.
hours going through her questions, going through her list. When I tried to update her with regard to the depositions that I took recently, she opted to exit the jail conference. When I tried to review some things with regard to discovery as to things I wanted to make sure she was aware of, she walked out.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Now, what I was going to say anyways, that's what we watched earlier. We didn't get to see her testifying, and it makes sense now because the audio was such crap. The first video we watched today was where Cashman came out and said exactly that. You try and meet with a client, she has a lot of lists, she has a lot of things she thinks are important. So that's when we started our feed today. The very first thing Judge Kraynick said was, nobody's interrupted you this morning. And I was lamenting that I couldn't find the video of what she was saying in the morning. We just watched it. And I think the reason why it didn't make the video from Law and Crime was because the audio was unrecoverable. Like, we had a tough time with it. I have a picture up. That's Sarah Paulson from her yearbook graduating year. It's funny they get her birth year wrong because we all know it's 10-10-7-7, but they say it's about 1978. So maybe she failed a year and took an extra year to pass high school. In any case, I think this has been a fun, successful stream.
Yeah, up until that last little bit where we lost our video. I don't know what happened.
We almost lost it right at the same point that where we watched it from, though. So because that
where we started, okay.
Exactly.
So we didn't lose anything.
No, exactly. It would have been nothing wrong with going back a second time. But let me just change our frame here to that. Oh, hold on. Shrink us to make it better. You look like you're just peeking up out of like one of the rabbit holes or okay. There we go. We're doubled up, but that works. So what's your schedule like? Are you able to do this regularly on Friday mornings? Is this going to be maybe once a month thing?
Unfortunately, I'm going to be working in my externship, and it's going to be a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 kind of thing.
Okay.
So my schedule is going to be a little.
Is Friday evenings probably more likely than Friday mornings going forward?
I could definitely do a Friday evening. I'm going to try to do Tuesday evening lives.
Okay.
If I can, I'll kind of have to see how my schedule looks after that.
So a quick reminder to the chat, Cowboy Criminology has his own channel. Go over there and subscribe. He's doing lives on Tuesdays, which is the same night that I'm usually at work, so I'm not able to join him for those, but you certainly can. So Cowboy Criminology is the name of his channel, and any mods, if you have a link to it, you can post it in the chat.
And I'm thinking, I don't know, how do Saturdays look for you?
They're usually like I try and take it as my day off. I like to go hard on Friday and then
Gotcha.
But that said, if there's ever something coming in the playlist where you think it's, hey, I'm interested in chiming in on this, like whether it's the first day of the trial, maybe we can do back to back. So I'm doing Fridays and Saturdays and you can join on the Saturday stream.
Okay. I'm thinking I want to bring back Serial Killer Saturdays. But I found out one of my favorite serial killer movies is now public domain.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted to see if you would be interested in possibly watching it with me.
Yeah.
And doing a live critique watching the 1931 classic M.
Okay. I don't even.
It's a great movie.
I'll leave it complete. I won't even look it up. I'll let it be completely fresh because I have no idea. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a great movie. Actually, I'm going to be no. Now I think about it, I'm not going to be able to do Tuesdays because I'm going to be teaching a criminology class on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
No, on Saturday I could join you for that, and then do it something that you're broadcasting from your channel, and I'll try and guest in on yours.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah,
but I'm going to be using the movie M to teach students about criminology.
Okay.
Because it's such a fantastic,
like parallels.
It's so fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
It's so fantastically done. It captures many of the criminological concepts that I cover in my course. But it's very loosely based on the capture of German serial killer Peter Kürten.
Okay.
So very, very interesting. And I'd been thinking about, I'm trying to round out my serial killer Saturdays for the summer. Wow, that's really tough when you have trouble saying your misses. Serial killer Saturdays for the summer. Ooh.
Good mic check. Check your sibilants.
There's a Canadian serial killer, Peter Woodcock, that I'm going to do.
Okay.
Serial Killer Saturday on. I tried to stick to people that not a lot of people know about.
Right.
But anyway, so that's kind of what I have coming up.
Okay.
So yeah, Saturdays are really going to be the best for me, and I'll try to sub in wherever I can. But yeah, if you could.
No, if I can.
Saturday open.
I think guesting is a little easier for me than hosting, and like there's. I stress out a lot about getting all the technical stuff right before it starts, and it uses a lot of mental energy.
It does, and it's not like it's not like you have anything to fear or anything. It's not like it's ever backfired before.
No, only spectacularly occasionally. That's it.
All right.
Okay.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna jump off here, and I'm just gonna join the chat. And
Okay.
I'm just gonna let you do your thing.
Okay. Well, I will switch it to a whatever my scene is here. I think that's me. Yeah, I can make myself a little bit bigger, but I think we're pretty much done here. Okay, volume's still working. Good. Big thank you to everyone in the chat. I see that we had pretty steady 50 people all day. Appreciate that. Oh, you're still here audibly. Fantastic. Or no, you're in my head. If you guys can't hear the cowboy, I can. That's how it is for the news people too. So they're sitting there talking to you on camera, and there's someone in their ear that can, like, hey, remember to mention my channel. I hear you, cowboy. No, I'm just messing. He's not messing with me anymore. Do check out his channel, Cowboy Criminology. We originally got acquainted because I was doing rewatches of his content. It was interesting to me both as a creator, because he was somebody that had, less than 500 subs at the time I found his channel. 2-hour long deep dives. Some videos that were just getting hundreds of views, but he'd still clearly put a lot of time and effort into it. And so it inspired me as, you don't, if you're going to do this, be prepared that, you're not going to get 10 million views just off of your, 12th upload. Like, you've got to stick around. This is a grind. It's not, sure, some videos can be like that, but I'm in a niche. So I was inspired by his work, though. I realized that it had quality, and I brought it to my viewers, and a lot of them got exposed to Cowboy Criminology for the first time. And so I really recommend check out his channel, check out his Sarah Boone coverage, because he was doing it at the same time that the trial was going on. So he missed the trial, which we're going to watch as much as we can together. But we missed a lot of his coverage because all the coverage was about the trial at the time that he was putting out his Sarah Boone videos. So yeah, check that out. It's also quite soothing if you like, Sarah Boone coverage to sleep to. It's, there's no highs and lows in the audio. He's very calming and chill to talk to. Definitely not going to grab an air raid siren out of nowhere and just, crank that up. That's the kind of crap you get on this channel. Thank you to the people who bought memberships. Remember that we don't do super chats here. We just do memberships. Oh my God, I was trying to be a slightly fuller screen. We're in the Dan-D True Crime Attic. I'm not even using a special background. Do have the dartboard back there though, because we can have fun. We like to play darts. I'm going to do a little bit of a ramble tonight. If I can get my stuff together, my plan is to put together a Park Dietz playlist. So starting with his testimony from the Betty Broderick trial, incredible expert witness, really the model for what an expert witness should be. So we're going to take some highlights of that and then go into other trials, because he worked with the Menendez brothers. He did the Unabomber. He did Jeffrey Dahmer. There's a lot of really interesting material. So one of my favorite moments was when Betty Broderick's lawyer was asking him this convoluted question, the end of a series of convoluted questions. Says, so am I making sense to you right now? And Park Dietz says, sometimes. Courtroom erupts. Like, it was just such a subtle little joke, and yeah, it just great timing. He's a really great expert witness, and kind of the model for what an expert witness should be, in that, it's not about I'm a defense witness or I'm a prosecution witness. I will give you expert opinion, whether it helps your client or doesn't. And if you want somebody whose opinion is respected, get me to speak on the stand. So, Dan-D, you are CST or MST? What is either? You or MST? Oh, I'm not CST or MST. I'm Pacific, specifically Pacific time, and Pacific only time. We don't use standard or daylight anymore. Province of British Columbia has decided that's it. We're not switching anymore. This is the time, and it's going to be the time. So we have Pacific time is where I am. The evening ramble, I don't even know what time I'll get it started. I will be doing it tonight. It might be a late night one. I might go really late, which is good for someone around the world. It might be good for Australia. Australia, you guys moved to number 3. USA's number 1, Canada number 2. The UK has been traditionally number 3. The UK is, standard, we'll support you. We'll be there. Australia, number 3. You have moved up in the last 28 days. I'm getting slightly more viewers from Australia than from the UK. So UK, you guys got to step it up. I'm not buying it came across me in Suma's chat. Suma is how I got, Suma and Danielle Chavon are how I got started in this. They were two of the real community builders that made me feel like a part of this community. And it, following them made me really start getting the inside jokes, having a lot of fun in the chats, and gave me the confidence that I could build a channel that people would appreciate, that people would just like the jokes, whether I was, perfect in my execution. I never expected to be a camera host. This is still, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best, Your Honor. I'm doing my best. It's not natural for me to be looking at myself on the screen. I know I'm supposed to be looking at the camera so that I can give you guys a look, but I just keep staring at myself. Classified crime, of course, RN2 Mums. Classified crime got me. She was my first, she invited me on to be a guest for the first time. Wildly successful first show talking about third rail, which I think it might be time for another third rail talk again. But that went really well. Then we did a second one where I was overcompensating. I was worried that, it was supposed to be the comedic sidekick, and I was so used to making funny jokes in the chat, but being able to edit them, and I don't know, whatever it was, the second show just didn't go as well for me. And I was a little crestfallen, and then everyone was so supportive, and it just made me want to just keep pushing forward. I did an 8-hour live stream, just vertical, talking to whoever wanted to join, and it went well. So I kept doing live streams and decided, okay, I'm going to be a personality. I'm going to put my face out there. So the face is here. Might be shaving this off by the next one. I shaved my beard and left the mustache just to be silly. My son-in-law says I look like a cop. I know that Cowboy Criminology says that I've got way too much hair to be a cop. He prefers a high and tight. If you do like the idea of Dan D ASMR, I do have a channel called Dan D Reads Public Domain. I've only done 2 chapters of Robinson Crusoe. Now that I have this set up, I think that I can do a lot more serious, tonal, ASMR style reading. Helps you sleep. But yeah, that's something to check out. I'll be doing more of that now that I'm no longer doing the Betty Broderick marathon. That's right. So RN2 Mums, we were talking about the YouTube algorithm. I'd done a lot of research about how things affected it, and yeah, wow. I really appreciate how many of you have stayed around for so long, and then people like Victoria Carmen, who just joined during the Betty Broderick marathon, didn't watch the Sarah Boone trial at all, and is still sticking around. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. I think you're going to really enjoy the way this trial goes too. For as outrageous as the Betty trial was, you're going to see a lot of happy community building here as this trial continues. Lynn Colors, welcome. First time I've seen you in the chat. Appreciate you being here. Lynn, if you just joined as a new subscriber, you have put me 10 away from being an AdSensed 1,000 subscriber person. So thank you very much for all the subscribers. Thank you for all the chatters. Are we going to talk about third rail? I don't think we need to talk about it. It's just sad, how, the financial burden of uploading is making channels go off the air. Just devastating. If you're not familiar with what's going on with the third rail, good for you. That's it probably means that you live in a very healthy life. If you are familiar, they're claiming financial burden. They're claiming that it's just too much to be on YouTube these days, or maybe on Patreon. Whatever it is, they're going to keep it open, and don't worry, they've donated a bunch of money, to charity, everything and then some, except for they're not making any money. Okay. So, yeah, there's that. They waded into doing commentary by doing commentary on Pharrell Torres's arrest, which bizarre to me. Like, one of the things that came up in the comments of the videos of that were, if you're going to do your first commentary video, you know, power to you. You know, we're all trying it. We're all doing things for the first time. That's fine. Why would you choose the one person that Sarah could have chose if you said, hey, Sarah, choose my first subject for a body cam video? Like, if you're trying to distance yourself and say, you know, hey, no, we cut it off. We just, you know, oh, bad person. You know, it just took us a year to realize she was a bad person, but once we realized it, that's it. We cut it off. I don't know. Sometimes I get a little fractious thinking about it. But yeah, I just don't understand how guys that could spend a whole year being the unpaid interns and doing, you know, emotional and financial favors for an obvious criminal. Like, you know, we didn't need the guilty, but guilty came and they still stayed. So they do all that for free, but then 6 months into making money, suddenly it's financially burdensome and, you know, I can't do it anymore. And, you know, is this just like a pit and pivot? Like, you know, there's that guy, the quartering, that used to always cry foul, like, you know, but buy my coffee and buy this and buy that. It just is a really weird. Oh yeah, I'm talking about the body cam thing. You know, so many different ways. Like, even if you wanted to really, you know, you were just invested, I'm going to do the Pharrell Torres body cam. That's, you know, I have a lot to say. That have a lot to say. Like, you know, presented as, hey, this is going to be tough to watch. This is going to be parents who are informed that their loved ones are, you know, no longer alive due to the actions of a violent criminal. Today we're going to learn about how to approach these situations. And, you know, I'm going to contrast it with some videos of officers delivering the news very compassionately. We're going to watch a few tough videos to get started here, and then we're going to watch some videos of how to do it right. And thank you for bearing with me. I just think this is important. That would have been a way to present it. But, you know, hey, here I am. Here's my first video. Here's my duck. Whack, whack, whack. All right, let's watch this random criminal. Oh, Pharrell Torres. Isn't that interesting? So, yeah, I think for people that are trying to distance themselves and say, you know, we think that she's a bad person. We always thought she was a bad person. To actively now be doing, if not her bidding, what would be her bidding? Like, if you were able to present her a list of 20 people that he could do a body cam commentary on, and Pharrell was on that list, who would she choose? Art and Two Moms says P&J are snakes. That brings up the animal montage. So the stupid animal montage at the beginning of every video, kind of deadly creatures or whatever. I think there's more creativity in that than anything that they ever brought to the Sarah Boone conversation. I think that the animals that were chosen for that reflect both what they think of us, the audience, as well as what they think we think of Sarah. So I think all the snake imagery, I think the wolf, the scorpion, all of that is, you know, was supposed to buy into our emotional, like, yeah, she's a snake. We love, I don't know who you guys are, but we love you. But when they put the vultures on, the vultures was what they think of us. They think that we're vultures and we just wanted to pick over the corpse of this Sarah Boone case. And they had all the grisly details and they were going to get rid. What they didn't realize is that we're not turned on by the journal. Maybe some people are, but, you know, most people, at best, it's a learning exercise. What the hell is going on in her head? There's nothing instructional. There's no facts that are coming from it. So it's a journal of lies written after the fact. So not even a journal, Memoirs of Lies. But they chose to just present it, you know, we don't know if it's real, so you be the judge. And it's like, well, or you could have just not published it and then nobody would have to be the judge because it was just, you know, dying a rightful death. Who are the flying monkeys? Asked Victoria Carmen. Now that is, if you watch a couple of my videos that have Minions imagery, I think the evolution of Flying Monkey went from Lana, who was the most effective and set a bar so high that every Flying Monkey that came afterwards both failed to meet that standard, so they were judged by it by Sarah, which meant they weren't nearly as appreciated because she knew what she could get from a Flying Monkey. But so it was Lana, then the Delphines came in because Tanika was doing the reads of the tablet messages, where Lana was the first character, but then the Delphines started coming in, and it's these documentarians who are these guys. They're offering this, they're offering that. Then there was the later Flying Monkey. Like, I think there's an Australian one that, you know, very limited, likes to comment, likes to do YouTube comments and stuff like that. So, but not, you know, terribly involved like the other ones. So I think, and again, I think it's because of Lana being so effective that all the Flying Monkeys that have come after haven't been able to live up to those standards. I think Lana was as good as it got, and it's never going to get that good again. Another one to say won't listen to the journal, plagiarized and bullshit. Yeah. They underestimated how much people care about George. Yeah. Yeah. I think they really thought that we were going to hear that they had the calls and we were going to pay the money for the journals. So that might have been their initial, like, okay, we're going to use the calls to get the YouTube. And then once we've got Tanika level subscriptions, we're going to pivot to the journals. And that's where, you know, the real dirt is. And I think they really thought that that would be the most exciting material. And at best, it's niche material within the niche. There's some people that just have to know everything. And, you know, fine, there's always going to be those people. And to a degree, you need those people because if there's something interesting there, they could bring it to the attention of the wider audience. Hey, you know, I know nobody wanted to read the journals, but she said X, Y, Z, and that actually pairs with these three other things. So, you know, I'm not denigrating the people who followed it, but it was always going to be a smaller subsection. It wasn't ever going to attract the wider audience. Sip of drink before I go any further. I don't know. I don't think that I have to say too much more. You have my YouTube shorts. They say a lot. I think it's shifty. There is something to be said for that. Another one to say asks if they maybe got in trouble for filing legal motions without a license. I've seen a fairly credible post on Reddit. Sarah Boone Continued is the name of the subreddit, that suggests that the calls may be a felony of some sort to be recording the calls without the permission of the Department of Corrections. Apparently the calls are the property of the Department of Corrections. And they even have, the post was saying something about that they have a means of blocking auto recording software, which made me think, maybe these guys have the old, when I was in journalism, there was like those little mini cassette recorders, and you could get them with basically a suction cup that went over the phone, and you could record analog both sides of the conversation with a little tape recorder. So it's an analog device. It makes me wonder, because they talk about, we don't know what day these were taped, and that's why they're released non-chronologically. Maybe they recorded them on analog materials. So they literally don't have the dates. They weren't recording by their iPhones. That would track with a couple of times where you can actually, like AG Tactical brought it up. He's listening to the calls and you can kind of hear a dropout where it's like, that doesn't make sense. Why is Peter's voice dropping out? He's the one recording the call. Like I could see the destination call, something happening along the line, but why is his... If he literally dropped the tape recorder and then had to reconnect it to the phone, that would explain why his voice was also gone for a second. So anyway, I think it's possible he was recording on mini cassettes as a way to get around any auto recording blocking of the Securus system. And then, great, you've got your recordings, but now if you weren't labeling your tapes with the dates and were saving them up for a year, yeah, it's probably a big pain in the ass for them to do what they're trying to do. So I could imagine, like, if they have to upload all the tapes from magnetic tapes to digital and then go in and edit them, that's an extra step, as opposed to, why don't you just release the tapes? Like, just press the button, release it. Like, I don't see what's taking so much extra expense. We got some lovers of AG Tactical. My favorite AG Tactical stuff was when he was covering the Mackenzie Shirilla case. I like his Sarah Boone stuff, but I personally, I'm kind of getting almost bored with the calls. There's a bit of repetition to them, and there's a lack of any, A to B to C storyline. It's just sort of, it's like background chatter from extras. But that said, AG Tactical himself is fantastic. His Mackenzie Shirilla stuff I really like, though. Kinsey, just wanted to make sure you're doing okay in there, Kinsey. He's also pretty cool on his lives. Every so often, him and his sister will have a few drinks and they just do like a live stream while enjoying each other's company and having a few drinks between friends, enough to have a good time. Oh, Steven Stearns too. Yeah. But yeah, I'd recommend AG Tactical. Definite. Well, he's not a friend of the show yet, but I would be happy to be friends with him. He seems like a friendly guy. Like to enjoy the same medical smoke. All right. Is there anything more I have to say about? I don't think I have to say more about Third Rail, as long as they keep putting out, like, the dying gasps of somebody who's barely keeping their nostrils above water. I'll keep reporting on it, but gotta do park deets tonight. Need to do, Daniel Chavon. Yeah, the cooking show. I have finished my dish. Me and Daniel are doing, let me see, got a message from her. Yeah, I do have a message from her. It says, okay, what time is it now? I'm still live. She's been working on the video. I sent my cooking. She's got the video. She'll be premiering it soon. I'm thinking maybe today, maybe tomorrow. We did a cooking challenge. It's the Lowell Prison Menu Cooking Challenge. We took the menu from December 27th, 2025. And not for any particular reason, just random date on the calendar. The menu was pork sandwich, coleslaw, baked beans, slice of bread, carton of milk. Taking that, I decided to do an elevated luxury prisons for the rich style menu and turned it into a Monte Cristo sandwich, baked beans in an onion bowl, a lovely broccoli coleslaw, with a bread pudding by making the bread and milk together into a lovely bread pudding. So that's what I did. Danielle did a prison perfect dish. Like, if the prison dishes looked like this, immaculate. But she stayed to the letter of the dish in most respects. So it's a literal interpretation versus a fanciful remix. So you have that to look forward to. I'm interested to see how that video turns out, but it should be part of a longer thing. So anyone who wants to replicate our recipes and post their pictures to our community tabs, I'll be making montages just like the pet montage during the Betty Broderick trial. So there's that. And then we'll be doing it for other foods. So we could be doing green chili chicken enchiladas. We could be doing a Boston cream pie. We could be doing carrot coins. I'd probably make carrot cake out of carrot coins. Honey buns. We could do a battle honey bun. And not only can it be us, but other YouTube creators. You guys want to get in on the fun? We could do like a 4 square and have all of us doing the battle on one particular food. There's so many different foods that have a tie into true crime. So it's I think it's a fun direction. It gives us all a break from some of the harshest stuff, like the video of Pharrell Torres murdering his wife and the poor mother having to be informed by the officers while a guy grins with his duck beside him. Just to, get us over that, we'll have a fun little cooking video where no one's being exploited. We're all just having a good time, learning to cook a new dish, spending time together. That's what we'll be doing. Keep an eye on Daniel Chavon's channel. That should be uploading very soon. I've got to keep an eye on it as well, because I'd love to be in on that chat as you guys are watching what's going on. I also have a short of my video. So after her video goes up, my short will go up shortly after. And then I'm going to do a longer form, almost like my lemon pound cake video, which goes step by step by step, especially through the bread pudding and Monte Cristo. So lots of fun to be had there. Okay, coming back to the chat. Is there anything I'm missing? You guys are fantastic. There's more people here at the end of the chat, just as me bullshitting on whatever I feel like. But you guys are fantastic for like this first stream. This is my first guest stream that went successfully. Thank you to Cowboy Criminology for spending an hour with me this morning to work out the kinks. We found out if he streams the video, then I can, if he streams to our personal chat, I can put all of that into the stream that goes out to YouTube, and it's a lot better than my computer trying to do both. So I think we found a way around it. If you want to watch our Friday the 13th stream where things went fucking haywire, things went really shit, it's unlisted. So if you saw it before, it's in your history and you can see it again. I'll be unlocking it maybe before we do our serial killer stream, but it's I want to do it maybe for the 1,000 subscription thing too, just to show the evolution of the Dan D channel. The menu should contain hand-picked mushrooms. That would be dangerous. Yeah, we get that, and that gets some Australian content into there too. We could have beef Wellingtons with death cap mushrooms on the menu. Billie Jean. Missed everything, but great to see everyone. It's a great chat today, Billie Jean. Definitely hang on until the live chat replays live. I had Cowboy Criminology, and we had a really Ken Sukroi hasn't even seen the stream. Please unlock. You know what? I'll post the link. In here because it's unlisted. But as long as you guys. And then that way, not too many people will see it because it's really bad. It's really bad. But yeah, I'll post the link in here and then you guys can get it from the link and then it's in your history and you can watch it forever. It's a good one it's a good one to laugh along to. Here we go. And a shout out to Barry Adams. We were having the hardest time. He bought 50 gift memberships during that stream. And it's like my worst stream, and at the same time, YouTube thinks, whatever you did there, do it again, because people were buying memberships. Link. Paste the link. Go a bad show. Yeah, the bread pudding went incredibly well. Bread pudding was just, I took some stale dinner buns, milk, cinnamon, sugar, nutmeg, little vanilla extract. Rip the bread, and some butter. So rip the bread into chunks, cover that with butter, throw in a handful of raisins, then whisk together the milk, the sugar, cinnamon and vanilla, and pour that all over the mixture. Bake it at 350. It's delicious. And then I served it with a little maple walnut ice cream. So walnuts were kind of like dropping out of the ice cream as it was so even into bread pudding. It was delicious. Oh, and eggs. Yeah, gotta have eggs. Yeah, I used 6 eggs in the course of my meal. But eggs are on the breakfast menu, so my thinking is I was trying to use as much stuff that they had access to on their menu, but that was you, RN2 Mums? RN2 Mums says, I had to find it on Reddit because I couldn't remember it. They said I was fucking rude and had to kick rocks and called me a total clown and said I couldn't buy a number 9 for McDonald's. RN2 Mom, I talked about that very thing with Suma offline. We were just sending messages back and forth that I'm like, the guy doesn't realize, like, to talk about the number 9 McDonald's, like meal from McDonald's, like everyone knows what it was. It's not the flex you think it is. It kind of says that you spend a little too much time at the McDonald's. But yeah, to know what happened was RN2 Mums, I guess, if I remember right, asked a very innocent question about, you said you'd be uploading on Mondays. There hasn't been a video this Monday. You know, we're paying $3 a month for the stream. Is that, you know, what's going on? Kind of something around that line. And then we got this, do we have a time for tonight's stream? Let me think about it. But yeah, then they responded with kick rocks, pound sand, and you couldn't buy a number 9 meal at the McDonald's. We don't need your money anyway. Get out of here. And it was like, wow, with that kind of customer service, it's a wonder you guys are finding it financially burdensome to make money. Yeah, they hadn't been posting any videos. And okay, so you're the one, RN2 Mums. RN2 Mums, if you are on Reddit, I'm just going to make a special request, and I don't usually make requests of this sort. There's a thread on the Sarah Boone Reddit where they're talking about the Betty Broderick trial. There's probably like 100 comments on it. Nobody's mentioned that I just streamed the whole fucking trial. Like, I've got 30 days of doing hours and hours of content as a Sarah Boone creator comparing Betty Broderick to... Anyway, if you're on, maybe don't mention that he's bitching about it, but, hey, Dan D has some great videos on the Betty Broderick thing if you want to see it from a Sarah Boone perspective. That's my ask. If you're on Reddit, please say your 2 cents there. I'm afraid of getting an account because I'm too opinionated, and then you would never see me online. I'd just be spending all my time seeing how my arguments are faring in text, and I survived the bulletin board wars of the 1990s. I can't go back. All right. I think we're pretty close to done. Let's see what's going to happen. We're praying for a long road of recovery for Mandy. Oh no. Her son is a Marine walking near the base Sunday morning. Vicious attack by a pack of pit bulls. Severe injuries from head to toe. Nothing short of a miracle that he's alive. I'm in shock. Pray for your son. God. My God. Thank you, RN2 Mums. I do appreciate... I think to some degree, I'm definitely the second string amongst Sarah Boone creators, so there's a lot of conversations I just check in on to make sure I'm staying current with the current conversation. It's one of the reasons why I realized I didn't even know about the duck video until I saw how upset everyone on Reddit got about the duck video with Pharrell Torres. So thanks to your collective outrage on that, I made a couple of shorts about it and, was aware enough to follow through on that link and comment on it. And so I definitely appreciate the Reddit for being there, but yeah, I can't get too overly involved myself. I only have so many hours in the day. Yeah, that's exactly it. RN2 Mom, she says, I don't get it on it very often, just once in a while, looking for some good juicy gossip. And that's like, I work 3 nights a week on overnight shifts, so every 3 nights, that's my time to check in. Ooh, has anything happened on Reddit? it's definitely a they said it on Reddit kind of thread. Have to make time for it in the next coming things. Right. It's the guys. Sorry, guys. I forgot about the guys and the FBI guys. Guys almost sounds like it's a Newfie expression coming from Canada because they talk about, they switch their A's and I's. So instead of I's the buys that sails the seas, because I's the buys that sailed her. Something about they's the boys that sailed. Oh, it's O's and, yeah. Anyway, the guys always mess me up because it sounds a little Newfie, but not quite. My God, Mandy. My God. All the best with them. Just stay with and give all love and support you can. Oh. Maybe we'll close on a moment of silence for Mandy's son, where we just collectively send a little energy and towards his recovery. If I'm thinking about when I'm coming online tonight, it's already 12:30 now. I'm probably going to need some time myself. Let's go about 8 hours from now. The weather, whatever time zone you're in, look at about 8 hours from now. Check online, and I may too be online. It'll be Park Deets tonight. Park Deets, and it'll be highlights from the Betty Broderick trial to start, whatever I can find for after. If I can't find too much, it'll be a lot of Betty Broderick trial. Yeah, let's send our collective good energy to Mandy and her son, and maybe see a lot of you in 8 hours. Thank you for staying with me today. Big thank you to Cowboy Criminology for joining me. Check out his channel. Check out Daniel Chavon for the cooking. And as long as you guys are fine, I'm Dan D. Together we're fine and dandy. This the end of the stream. 10. 7. 5. Name is Nathan Strong. He's the sweetest person you could meet. He loves animals. On.